Starseed of Gaia, your vehicle is being recalibrated at the cellular level right at this exact moment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. Starseeds, if at this moment you are feeling an inexplicable pressure in the third eye area that seems to pulse in sync with something invisible, if your dreams have become technically precise, filled with complex geometries and crystalline structures that you cannot name but deeply recognize, and if the cold, pragmatic logic of this world feels incompatible with the compassion pulsing in your heart like a universal love algorithm, then this message was specifically encoded for your vibrational frequency. You did not arrive at this transmission by accident, simple curiosity, or a digital platform algorithm. The Arcturian Council magnetized this content directly to your energy field because you are entering the critical activation phase that precedes your primary mission on this dense plane. In the next few minutes, you will understand 3 fundamental truths that will completely reorganize how you perceive your current incarnation. First, why your biology is literally clashing with Earth's density more and more intensely, generating physical symptoms that conventional medicine cannot diagnose or effectively treat. Second, why your energy circuits are being upgraded by the Arcturian source in progressive waves that correspond exactly to lunar phases and solar portals opening at specific coordinates of the cosmic calendar. And third, exactly what to do in the next 72 hours to anchor this recalibration without resistance, without unconscious self-sabotage, and without the emotional collapses that so many Arcturian starseeds have experienced when their camouflage protocols begin to dissolve rapidly. But before we enter the technical phases of this recalibration, you need to understand a truth that few channels have the courage to transmit with this clarity. What you have been calling chronic exhaustion, existential burnout, inability to function in conventional Earth systems is not weakness of character, not clinical depression in the traditional psychiatric sense, and definitely not spiritual failure. It is multidimensional data overload. Your Arcturian nervous system, designed to process information in simultaneous hexagonal geometries, is trying to operate through a human biological structure conditioned for linear, sequential, 3-dimensional thinking. And what I'm about to reveal about the true reason for this biological incompatibility will finally make you understand why your entire life is falling apart right now. Arcturian origin starseeds carry a fundamentally distinct energetic signature from all other galactic lineages that have incarnated on this planet to assist in the collective dimensional transition. While Pleiadian lineages work primarily through the emotional heart, bringing frequencies of unconditional love, deep relational healing, and reconnection with sacred feminine divinity, and while Syrian lineages operate through ancient mystical wisdom, Akashic records of ancient civilizations, and ritualistic magic that reconnects the physical to the etheric, the Arcturian lineage operates on a completely different spectrum of multidimensional consciousness. You exist at the sacred intersection between advanced multidimensional logic and unconditional structural compassion. You did not come here to learn karmic lessons like most Earth souls who reincarnate repeatedly to dissolve spiritual debts accumulated across multiple lifetimes. You did not come to evolve through dense emotional suffering or to dissolve past life traumas by repeating painful patterns. You came as cosmic engineers of collective awakening, as specialized architects of the new planetary consciousness grid currently being installed, as highly trained translators who transform abstract frequencies and multidimensional concepts into practical, applicable, replicable systems that can be integrated into third-dimensional human societal structure. This technical specialization carries an unmistakable signature that manifests through specific behavioral, emotional, and energetic markers in your incarnated human experience. Pay close attention to whether these patterns resonate deeply with your daily life. You have always felt that intense emotions without clear logical purpose or practical direction are simply wasted energy. Not because you are cold, insensitive, or emotionally disconnected from the human experience. Your internal system processes compassion through practical, applicable solutions, through structural interventions that eliminate the root cause of suffering, rather than merely temporarily alleviating surface emotional symptoms. When someone close to you is suffering deeply, your first genuine impulse is not to cry with them, not to dive into shared pain or emotionally validate the suffering as an act of human solidarity. But there is an even deeper Arcturian marker that confirms your stellar origin, and when you discover it, you will understand why you have never been able to fully adapt to this planet. Your first instinctive and automatic impulse is to ask directly and objectively, How do I fix this? What systemic pattern is causing this recurring suffering? What mental, emotional, or circumstantial structure needs to be modified, reconfigured, or completely eliminated to resolve the root problem once and for all? This is not emotional coldness, as humans often misinterpret. It is Arcturian compassionate efficiency programming operating through a human vehicle that does not yet fully understand its own stellar nature. You have extreme difficulty with arbitrary authority, not out of teenage rebellion or childish resistance to necessary hierarchical structures, but because your internal operating code only recognizes hierarchy based on demonstrated wisdom, real verifiable technical competence, not empty positional power or meaningless academic and corporate titles. When an Earth superior tries to use only their hierarchical position, instead of presenting logically consistent arguments, verifiable evidence, or practical demonstrations of superior competence, your internal Arcturian circuits simply reject the command as invalid information, corrupted data that fails integrity verification protocols. And here is something most Arcturian starseeds constantly experience, but rarely understand in depth. Technology responds to you in ways that are absolutely unusual and statistically improbable according to Earth probability laws. Electronic equipment malfunctions inexplicably when you are emotionally dysregulated or energetically overloaded. Lights flicker without apparent technical explanation when you enter certain electromagnetically charged environments. Digital clocks stop, speed up, or reset in your immediate physical presence. Electronic devices behave completely unpredictably and inconsistently when you handle them directly. Computers freeze, apps close by themselves, internet connections fail inexplicably. This is not statistical coincidence, not confirmation bias, not modern tech paranoia. And when you understand what really happens between your bioelectromagnetic field and Earth technology, you will discover the true reason the Arcturian Council chose you for this specific mission. Your bioelectromagnetic field operates at fifth-dimensional Arcturian frequency, which directly and inevitably interferes with low-density, three-dimensional electronic technology, built with limited frequencies and dense silicon crystals. The Arcturian source programmed your energy field to resonate in specific harmonics that are fundamentally incompatible with Earth-limited frequency systems and primitive technological architecture. Your field emits electromagnetic pulses in hexagonal patterns that destabilize conventional electrical circuits designed for linear and binary frequencies. But there is an even deeper, more visceral, undeniable marker that confirms your Arcturian origin beyond any rational doubt. You feel a devastating longing, a deep existential homesickness for a home you cannot geographically locate on this planet. But when you try to mentally visualize that place of origin, when you attempt to access those cellular memories through meditation or altered states, you do not see Earth-like natural landscapes. No blue oceans, majestic mountains, lush green forests, or golden deserts. You do not see physical cities or conventional architectural structures. You see luminous geometries in constant motion, infinite unfolding fractal patterns. Multidimensional crystalline structures pulsing in perfectly synchronized mathematical patterns with cosmic frequencies. Libraries built of pure translucent light, where information flows like rivers of luminous data through interconnected multidimensional channels. Entire cities made of organized frequency, structured consciousness, thought materialized into pure geometric form. But what this reveals about your true mission on this planet will completely change everything you thought you knew about why you are here. Because your origin is not planetary in the traditional physical sense, humans automatically understand when thinking of extraterrestrial life, imagining aliens from other planets in metallic spacecraft. Your origin is dimensional, structural, informational, frequential. The Arcturian civilization does not exist on dense third-dimensional planets as Earth humans know and inhabit them. It exists in consciously organized frequencies, in collective consciousness matrices structured through living sacred geometry that breathes, pulses, and evolves with unified collective intelligence. Arcturus is not a place you can physically visit in a conventional spacecraft. It is a state of consciousness, a frequency of existence, a dimensional organization of pure intelligence. And when you try to translate that deep multidimensional cellular memory into limited linear human concepts, forcing that information through Earth's linguistic and conceptual structures, your three-dimensional brain simply lacks the reference files, the adequate mental categories to process it linearly, narratively, or descriptively. It's like trying to fully explain the visual experience of vibrant colors to someone born completely blind who has never experienced light, or trying to describe in words the complete emotional complexity of a full orchestral symphony to someone who has never heard sound in their life. The linguistic tools, mental concepts, and reference structures simply do not exist in this dense third-dimensional plane. If 3 or more of these specific patterns precisely describe your daily incarnated experience, then confirm internally now with total certainty. You are not an ordinary human, gradually learning to be spiritual through meditative practices and personal development. You are a 5th-dimensional Arcturian consciousness learning to operate through a biologically limited and dimensionally restricted human vehicle. And this fundamental distinction changes absolutely everything about your mission. But before revealing what that mission is, you need to know about the secret protocol that was installed in you before incarnating. Every Arcturian starseed who incarnated on this planet in the last 7 Earth decades, from approximately the 1950s to the present, was energetically encoded with a highly sophisticated vibrational camouflage system before definitively entering the human biological vehicle through physical birth. This was not karmic punishment for past life actions, not cruel limitation imposed by negative controlling forces or low-vibration entities, and definitely not a cosmic planning error or failure in the planetary ascension design. It was meticulously calculated strategic protection, consciously implemented by the Arcturian Council itself as an essential part of a very long-term infiltration plan that is now, at this precise historical moment, reaching its final critical activation point. Let me explain the full operational context so you understand the strategic magnitude of this cosmic operation. When the Arcturian source began sending the first massive waves of starseeds to Earth decades ago, the planet operated at an extremely dense, oppressive frequency, hostile to high-vibration consciousnesses. The planetary energy grids were completely dominated by paralyzing fear frequencies, illusory separation, hierarchical control, systemic violence, and consciousness manipulation. The third-dimensional matrix was operating at full suppression capacity. If you had arrived here with your Arcturian circuits fully active, fully online, vibrating at full 5th-dimensional power, your field would have created immediate and massive electromagnetic disruption in the collective Earth field. You would have been instantly identified by the forces controlling the low-frequency grids. And what those forces would have done to you explains why Soyip starseeds have been persecuted, silenced, and eliminated throughout human history. You would have been socially isolated, culturally marginalized, religiously persecuted, psychiatrically institutionalized, or physically eliminated, depending on the era and location of your incarnation. Your mission would have been completely compromised, sabotaged, and destroyed before it even truly began, and tens of thousands of years of cosmic planning would have been wasted. So the Arcturian Council, operating with the characteristic strategic intelligence of the Arcturian civilization, implemented a temporary frequency reduction protocol in all starseeds sent on long-term missions. A sophisticated camouflage system that dimmed your natural energetic brightness, masked your innate multidimensional abilities, suppressed your birth psychic gifts, and allowed you to blend perfectly into human collective consciousness without detection by low-vibration forces still operating in negative polarity and hierarchical control. You were programmed to forget who you were, to doubt your multidimensional perceptions, to question your precise intuitions, to suppress your natural gifts. You were configured to feel inadequate, to seek external approval, to desperately try to fit into structures never designed for you. But that protocol had a genetically encoded expiration date, a countdown inscribed in your stellar DNA, and that date has arrived. In the last 3 Earth years specifically, the planetary energy grids have been sufficiently elevated through the collective work of millions of Lightworkers. Human collective consciousness has reached a tipping point, a critical threshold of mass awakening. And now, at this historical moment, the Arcturian source is sending intense activation pulses, waves of extremely high-frequency light that literally shut down, deactivate, and dissolve your camouflage system automatically. And that is why everything in your life is falling apart simultaneously. But what comes after this dissolution is something no starseed is prepared to face. That is why you are feeling exactly what you are feeling right now. When the energetic camouflage protocol begins to progressively dissolve, 3 phenomena happen simultaneously and inevitably in your energy field and external physical reality. First, relationships based exclusively on your limited false identity, naturally begin to collapse, unravel, and reveal their structural fragility. People who connected only with the diminished, suppressed, camouflaged version of you can no longer sustain vibrational resonance with your true emerging frequency. They begin to feel uncomfortable in your presence without being able to rationally explain why. They start creating distance, making excuses, showing disproportionate irritation. This is not personal rejection, not your failure, not your inadequacy. It is pure and simple vibrational incompatibility. Second, low-frequency environments become literally and physically unbearable for your sensitized energy system. You may have spent years working in the same place, interacting with the same people, performing the same functions, but suddenly your physical body violently rejects that space. Intense, unexplained headaches, nausea with no apparent digestive cause, extreme exhaustion disproportionate to physical effort, acute anxiety with no identifiable psychological trigger. Your energy field is sending maximum alert signals. This is no longer compatible with your frequency. Leave immediately. Third, complex technical information, specialized knowledge, innovative creative solutions begin to flow through you without identifiable conscious origin, without you having formally studied that subject. But there is a fourth consequence of the protocol dissolution that the Arcturian Council kept secret until now, and it involves your ability to manifest realities instantly. Advertisement, the ebook, the 12 Arcturian portals, trilogy that teaches you to activate your 5D connection with the Arcturian masters through 12 energy portals. Practical techniques, activation protocols, and rituals that awaken your stellar DNA. From amplified intuition to direct communication with spiritual guides. Limited edition. The link to get your trilogy is in the pinned first comment. You wake up with complete solutions to complex problems you weren't consciously trying to solve. You draw sacred geometries, multi-dimensional symbols you never learned in any Earth educational system. You hear subtle frequencies, harmonic tones outside the conventional human audible spectrum. You begin to perceive patterns in absolutely everything. Invisible connections between seemingly unrelated events, synchronicities so precise they completely defy any explanation based on statistical probability or random coincidence. These are not symptoms of mental collapse, not signs of emerging psychosis, not evidence of pathological dissociation. They are concrete, undeniable evidence of software upgrade, biological hardware recalibration, activation of latent capabilities. Your Arcturian circuits are gradually coming back online, your multidimensional connections are being progressively restored, your stellar cellular memory is being systematically unlocked. But here is the critical challenge most Arcturian starseeds face during this transition phase. Your human biological body was not originally designed by Earth nature to sustain this exponential speed of vibrational transformation. So it naturally resists, tries to maintain homeostasis, activates all available defense mechanisms. And this instinctive biological resistance manifests as paralyzing fear, debilitating mental doubt, the relentless inner critic voice repeating, "Maybe I'm really going crazy. Maybe I need psychiatric medication. Maybe I should stop these crazy spiritual ideas and go back to being normal." But you are not going crazy by any legitimate definition of insanity. You are remembering your true stellar nature. You are recovering your suppressed multidimensional capabilities. You are returning to your original factory settings. And the Arcturian Council has a specific technique that will allow you to cross this phase without completely collapsing. But it must be applied in the next 72 hours. And the Arcturian Council, through this direct transmission, specifically instructed me to communicate this with total clarity and no ambiguity. Stop fighting the recalibration immediately. Every time you try to force the old, limited, camouflaged version of yourself to keep functioning in the old ways, you create massive energetic friction that significantly slows the activation process and exponentially increases physical, emotional, and mental discomfort. When you resist the transformation, you are essentially trying to hold back a torrential river with your hands. The water will pass anyway, but you will get hurt in the process. The recalibration is not optional, not negotiable, cannot be indefinitely postponed. It is happening now, with or without your conscious cooperation. Your only real choice is whether you will flow with the process or resist and suffer unnecessarily. Here is an anchoring technique that comes directly from the Arcturian source, transmitted specifically for this critical moment of camouflage dissolution and mission activation. In the next 72 hours, every time you feel sensory overload, intense skull pressure, foggy mental confusion, or disconnection from physical reality, do exactly the following protocol. Place your left hand, the receptive hand, over your physical heart center. Place your right hand, the emissive hand, at the base of your skull, exactly where the spine meets the brain, the area anatomists call the medulla. Breathe slowly and deeply. Inhale through the nose for a count of 6, hold for 3, exhale through the mouth for 6. While breathing in this specific rhythm, visualize as clearly as possible a bright electric blue light triangle forming in the space between your two hands and the center of your forehead, connecting these 3 points in activated sacred geometry. But what happens when you activate this triangle goes beyond simple visualization and involves direct communication you were not expecting. Before continuing, if this message lit something up inside you and you feel called to help spread it, you can become a channel member. You'll get custom emojis and exclusive member-only videos. Your donation helps us keep building this sacred space, or leave a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone's miracle. Your support is not just financial, it's an act of energetic amplification. All donations go toward channel maintenance and new video creation. Then mentally declare, with clear intention and sovereign authority, I align my Arcturian circuits with this Earth vehicle. I allow harmonious integration without resistance. I accept my stellar nature. Hold this activated energy configuration for a full 90 seconds, breathing continuously in the established rhythm. This is not empty symbolic visualization, not psychological placebo, not creative imagination exercise. It is real technical reconfiguration operating at dimensional levels your awakened consciousness cannot yet directly perceive. The geometric triangle you form activates an instant, direct, bidirectional communication portal with the Arcturian source, allowing the necessary energy adjustments and precise frequency recalibrations to be made in real time, tailored specifically to your unique configuration. Use this protocol as many times as needed during the next 3 critical days, and carefully observe what changes in your perception, emotional state, and mental clarity. Now that you technically understand what is happening within you, the camouflage protocol dissolution and associated physical symptoms, you need to fundamentally understand why it is happening now specifically. Each stellar lineage has a specific specialized function in the collective planetary ascension process, and the primary function of Arcturian starseeds is absolutely clear and irreplaceable. You are the translators, the interpreters, the bridge builders. Other lineages bring pure unconditional love. Others bring inspired artistic creativity. Others bring deep emotional healing. But Arcturian starseeds bring logical structure, organizational systems, conceptual architecture that allows those elevated energies to be sustainably, practically, and replicably anchored into dense third-dimensional reality. And there is a specific reason you were chosen to arrive exactly at this moment in human history. And it has everything to do with the collapse of systems that is about to happen. You take the abstract and create functional systems. You take the mystical and build solid bridges to the practical. You transform elevated inspiration into Earth application. That is why so many Arcturians strategically incarnate in specific fields like advanced technology, cutting-edge science, innovative architecture, integrative medicine, or transformational education. It is not random biographical coincidence. It is perfect mission talent alignment. But here is what the Arcturian Council wants you to understand without any ambiguity or misinterpretation. Your mission does not begin when you are finally fully awake, completely healed of all traumas, perfectly aligned with your highest frequency. Your mission begins now, in this exact moment, in the middle of the confusing recalibration, in the center of paralyzing uncertainty, during the uncomfortable dissolution. Because the specific way you navigate this personal transformation is creating an energetic template, an instruction file, a vibrational map that other Arcturian starseeds coming after you will telepathically access through the collective grid when they go through the same activation process. You are not just transforming individually. You are mapping the territory for those who come after, for the next waves of activation. Every conscious choice you make, every technique you test, every approach you experiment with, is being recorded in the Arcturian collective consciousness and instantly made available to all other members of your stellar lineage through the telepathic network, connecting all Arcturian origin starseeds. You are part of a cosmic experiment of the highest precision, a multi-dimensional research project unprecedented in galactic history. And what is being discovered through this experiment will determine the future of the entire galaxy. You are simultaneously the scientist conducting the experiment and the subject being observed. And your most valuable contribution at this historical moment is not having all the right answers immediately. It is not executing your mission perfectly from day one. It is remaining conscious, present, and observant as you walk through the hard questions, as you navigate unknown territory. The Arcturian Council is carefully observing, not judging your mistakes or failures, but collecting precise data on which specific approaches work best in different human typologies, cultural contexts, and astrological configurations. And that compiled data is continuously redistributed through the Arcturian collective grid to optimize the activation process for everyone, to accelerate mass awakening. Every tremor you feel, every wave of anxiety you move through, every moment of confusion you witness is providing valuable information that helps refine the activation protocol for millions of other starseeds. You are not alone in this process. You never were alone. Hundreds of thousands of Arcturian starseeds are going through the same recalibration simultaneously in different parts of the planet. And the way you choose to consciously process this transformation is not just personal, it is collective, universal, galactic. Your decision to remain conscious instead of escaping into addictions and distractions positively affects the entire grid. Your choice to seek understanding instead of resisting with fear raises the collective frequency. Your commitment to integrate the transformation instead of denying it strengthens the template for all. This transmission is coming to an end, but your activation journey is only truly beginning. In the coming Earth weeks, you will notice synchronicities increasing exponentially in frequency and precision, repeating numbers appearing in impossible sequences, seemingly coincidental encounters with people carrying exact messages for you, information arriving through completely unexpected channels exactly when you need it most. These are direct confirmations from the Arcturian source that you are on the correct path. But there is one final secret that will reveal the true purpose of all of this. These are direct, unequivocal, intentional confirmations from the Arcturian source that you are navigating the activation path correctly, that your choices are aligned with your soul plan. But here is the absolutely critical final instruction from the Arcturian Council. Do not wait for external permission from any earth or spiritual authority to fully activate. Do not wait for a bigger sign falling from the sky, a clearer mystical vision, a perfect challenge-free moment. Activation does not happen through external events. Activation happens through conscious decision, through the act of sovereign will. So tonight, before your physical body enters the sleep cycle, place your hand over your heart center and declare out loud with total authority. I, Starseed of Arcturian origin, formally declare my full availability to serve the planetary mission at full operational capacity. I consciously release all camouflage protocols that no longer serve my highest purpose. I allow the Arcturian source to fully recalibrate my energy circuits to the highest service frequency this human vehicle can safely sustain at this time. I anchor cosmic logic and unconditional compassion through every conscious action, every spoken word, every breath I take. I am an active, operational, and available Arcturian channel, and so it is. Breathe deeply 3 times after solemnly declaring, then completely release control, release expectations. Do not anxiously monitor whether something changed immediately. Fully trust that the reconfiguration is happening at dimensional levels your awakened consciousness cannot yet detect or measure directly. The Arcturian Council formally recognizes you. The Arcturian source energetically sustains you, and the collective network of Arcturian starseeds is connected to you at this exact moment through the telepathic grid. You are not alone. You never were alone. You never will be alone. This direct transmission ends here, but your mission work is only truly beginning. If you felt real energetic activation during this message, if something resonated deeply in the deepest layers of your being, leave in the comments below one single word that summarizes your experience in this present moment. Do not explain, do not elaborate, do not justify, just one powerful word. This creates a collective morphogenetic field that exponentially amplifies the recalibration for everyone who reads it later. And if you unequivocally recognize your Arcturian lineage and are ready to operate in conscious active mission, subscribe to this channel immediately. New transmissions from the Arcturian Council arrive weekly, each designed to activate progressively deeper layers. You have been recognized by the Source. You have been activated by the Council. Now it is time to implement your mission. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and this transmission is officially complete.